Hello and welcome to part 2 of this webinar series, Upper GI Tract and Peptic Ulcer Disease. My name is Moyo Olukoga. I'm a final year medical student at Lancaster Med School. This is brought to you by Medics.Academy's virtual elective. I had a really great experience and I'd recommend you sign up. More information is available in the description box below. This is a 3-part webinar series and this is part 2. Upper GI tract and duodenum. If you haven't already, make sure you watch part 1 using the link in the description box below and part 3 next, also using a link. If you've already watched part 1, you know we've already covered the upper GI tract histology, so you can skip forward a couple of seconds. If not, let's cover the basics. So it's important to understand the upper GI histology because this allows us to all understand how different organs function. Let's have a look at the 4 basic layers. Starting with the innermost layer, the mucosa. This is consisting of the epithelium, lamina propria, and the muscularis mucosa. It's in direct contact with the food as it passes through the lumen. Surrounding this is the submucosa, which you can see here in brown. This contains different glands which secrete things like enzymes through its ducts into the mucosa and the lumen. It also contains blood and lymphatic vessels and is innervated by the submucosal plexus. The next layer is the muscularis. This is composed of an inner circular layer and an outer longitudinal muscle layer. It's innervated by the myenteric plexus, as you can see here, and this allows for peristalsis, so the food can travel along the GI tract as well as be mechanically digested. Finally, we have the serosa, this layer here in beige. It consists of the connective tissue, epithelium, and visceral peritoneum, suspending different GI organs within the abdomen. So we have 4 basic layers and each layer varies according to the organ. Before we begin, let's see how much you know. So this is our first MCQ. A duodenal ulcer is common in which part of the duodenum? A, superior, B, descending, C, inferior, A, ascending. Have a think, you can pause if you want, but let's find out. So, the duodenum is the proximal portion of the small intestine. It begins at the pyloric sphincter, which is the end of the stomach, forms a C shape around the pancreas, ending at the duodenal-jejunal junction, where it's connected to the jejunum. A duodenal ulcer is common in the superior portion of the duodenum. We have 4 main anatomical regions. So we've already mentioned the superior portion, which is shaded in pink. In yellow is the descending portion. In light green is the inferior, and in blue, the ascending. It's important to note that in the descending portion, the ampulla rafata is located here, and this is where secretions from the stomach, bile, and pancreatic juices all meet. So now that we have that information, let's answer this question. A duodenal ulcer is common in A, the superior part of the duodenum. Time for a second MCQ. Which 2 arteries supply the duodenum? A, gastroduodenal and splenic, B, gastroduodenal and pancreaticoduodenal, or C, pancreaticoduodenal and splenic? Have a think and we'll find out. So let's begin to see which arteries supply the duodenum. Coming off the abdominal aorta, we have 2 main trunks, the celiac trunk and the superior mesenteric artery. These give off different branches which supply the duodenum. So let's begin at the celiac trunk. One of the branches is the common hepatic artery. This gives off the gastroduodenal branch, which is actually involved in a perforated duodenal ulcer. Coming off the gastroduodenal branch is a superior pancreaticoduodenal artery. This supplies the superior portion and most of the descending portion of the duodenum, while coming off the superior mesenteric artery is the inferior pancreaticoduodenal. this supplies the rest of the descending, the inferior and ascending portion of the duodenum. Venous drainage is nice and simple. All the veins from the duodenum feed into the portal vein, which goes towards the liver. So now that we know this information, which two arteries supply the duodenum? If you guessed B, that's correct, the gastroduodenal and the pancreatico-duodenal. Time for a final MCQ before we continue. How is food digested in the duodenum? A, peristalsis, B, hydrochloric acid, C, peristalsis and hydrochloric acid, or D, peristalsis and segmentation. So, we know in the histology that the mucosa contains epithelium, lamina propria, and muscularis mucosa, but there are some things which are unique to the duodenum. The type of epithelium found here is simple columnar epithelium, which is important for absorption, whilst goblet cells are also found in the mucosa secreting mucus. Absorptive cells are also found. These secrete enzyme as well as have microvilli helping with absorption. Next, we'll take a look at the mucosa, the submucosa. The submucosa contains glands, and the glands which are specific to the duodenum are called Brunner's glands. These secrete alkaline mucus, which is important for neutralizing the acidic chyme coming from the stomach. Let's have a look at the physiology. Digestion occurs in the duodenum through peristalsis, the action of digestive enzymes, and segmentation. Segmentation is where chyme and digestive juices mix together. The chyme comes here from the stomach into the duodenum, and the digestive juices come from the gallbladder as bile, entering the ampulla of Vater, as well as through the pancreatic duct and entering the ampulla of Vater. And as they're mixed together, this is known as segmentation. Absorption of digested carbohydrate, protein, lipids, and nucleic acids happen in the duodenum. So let's see if we can answer our last MCQ. How is food digested in the duodenum? If you answered D, peristalsis and segmentation, that's correct. This brings us to the end of part 2. To summarize, the duodenum is composed of superior, descending, inferior, and ascending parts. The arterial supply to the duodenum is from the gastroduodenal and pancreatico-duodenal arteries. Venous drainage is through the hepatic portal, and the duodenum is involved in digestion and absorption of food. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, you can email me at simplymedics@gmail.com or contact me through Twitter and Instagram at simplymedics. If you'd like to see any of the lectures my colleagues are doing, please make sure you click on any of the videos on this channel. Make sure you subscribe and like to the Medics.Academy YouTube channel so you can keep up to date with the latest videos. Finally, if you're a medical student, make sure you sign up to the free S.Docs program. A link is in the description box below. Thank you.